Alrighty, folks, it's time to celebrate if you're in Trump world. I'm going to call it, I'm going to say it's official. The Trump indictment is over party. It's not such a catchy name, but that's what I'd be throwing if I resided at Mar-a-Lago tonight. Because the Manhattan DA's grand jury, the one that we've been promised even by Trump himself, would indict Trump, perp walk him, lock him up in jail. That grand jury keeps getting delayed and delayed. They've now been dismissed. Well, not dismissed because they've got other matters to deal with, but they're gonna table the whole Trump matter for the rest of the week. So after not delivering a indictment last Tuesday, as we were told would happen by Donald Trump himself, the matter got punted to this week, and then here we are on Monday, and we were even hearing rumors, oh, the indictment could come today. And guess what? Nope, the grand jury adjourned after hearing from one witness, David Pecker of all people. The Manhattan DAs really haven't scraped the bottom of the barrel. They had to bring in David Pecker to testify for a second time because apparently even the Manhattan grand jury was being persuaded by the Trump-friendly witness Robert Costello. And I guess the matter with David Pecker didn't go over so well. Honestly, I don't think I'd be too happy about a double dose of Pecker. And so the grand jury won't be meeting, period, until Thursday, and they definitely won't be talking about Trump for the rest of the week. And we're also hearing they might not talk about Trump at all next week, so there's definitely no indictment coming. The indictment is nowhere close. And if they haven't been able to present evidence to the grand jury that would be compelling enough for them to issue an indictment, I don't think that they're going to come up with it. They're going the second round now, having to bring back witnesses. And remember, this isn't a regular jury. This is a grand jury. You know, grand juries infamously could indict a ham sandwich. You know, nobody respects a grand jury. I mean, grand juries, their job there is to pretty much rubber stamp whatever the prosecutors bring to them. And if they haven't done that, you know, in one of the most anti-Trump places on earth, where people are going to be as lenient towards the prosecution as imaginable, then I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Sorry, folks. Trump's not getting indicted over the Stormy Daniels stuff in Manhattan. It's just not going to happen. So, I can't say I'm shocked. How many times have we been told over and over again, you know, the walls are closing in, Trump's at the end of his rope, you know, he's run out of rail. It's all downhill from here, and somehow he never ends up in prison. And to be fair, the only reason I took this whole indictment situation seriously was once Trump himself came out and said it. Now, I think I said even at the time, the first time we talked about it, that this could be just Trump trying to build hype, because I said how this indictment, you know, only worked in his favor, and how it made him relevant for the first time when his campaign really had been completely irrelevant since he started it way back in November of 2022. It's hard to believe he's been campaigning for 5 months. And so it seems to me that Trump blueballed his own opponents, the TDS crowd, the whole, I don't even know how to describe him as, I don't want to lump all Democrats in with him, but, you know, I don't know, maybe all Democrats are still, you know, all strung out on Trump. I mean, I don't know how many people still remember him. I mean, to me, it feels like an eternity since Trump was president. But I guess their hatred is pretty consistent across time and space. And so he got these folks all hyped up, he got their hopes up, and they were sure, oh my gosh, come Tuesday, you know, release the Kraken. And yet the Kraken was nowhere to be found. Trump is a free man, and I contend that he will remain that way for the rest of his life. if they haven't been able to make something stick on him yet, they never will. It's not going to happen, folks. You know, I humored this grand jury thing, you know, for a week, but that's all I'm giving it. The Manhattan DA, I mean, he's spiraling. He looks like a complete fool. Even if he had gotten his indictment, it likely wouldn't have gone anywhere in court. Although, you know, I said, hey, you know, you get it to a jury, and you have the most biased jury pool imaginable. I mean, look what they were able to accomplish with the January 6th cases. You know, I thought that there was a path. You know, you get a lynching jury, shouldn't be too hard. But if they're stumbling at the grand jury stage, there's nothing here. It's gone. So that's good news and bad news for Trump. The good news is, you know, he's never going to see the inside of a jail cell. But the bad news is he's not going to be able to capitalize off of this as much. And I will give him some credit, though. He did masterfully bait Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSilence, Ron DeSanctimonious. Those nicknames, I think, are starting to stick. Into essentially saying that he would do nothing if Trump were to become the victim of a political prosecution. Sure, DeSantis called it a political prosecution, but he said, hey, it's none of my business. You know, Trump's on his own. And that enraged Trump voters. And then, to add insult to injury, DeSantis went on Piers Morgan, of all people. You know, someone who has contempt for much of what the GOP base stands for. Many of their core values, Piers Morgan just couldn't be more opposed to. Not to say that he's the devil. I think there's certainly a lot worse people than Piers Morgan, and he's someone that, you know, he seems like a reasonable person you can have a conversation with. But anyway, he went on Piers Morgan to do what? To say that we got to be tougher on Ukraine, tougher on Russia. We got to stand up for Ukraine. And he did that himself. I mean, Trump didn't coax DeSantis into saying that. DeSantis said it all on his own. But anyway, last week, great week for Trump. Couldn't have been better. The best week of his career, or of his current campaign. And it seems like it's all uphill from here. This was the indictment that was, because there's lots of Trump legal stuff always boiling under the surface. This was the one that had the most promise. This is the one that people, you know, really were staking a claim on and saying, hey, this could be the end of Trump. And it's going nowhere. Now, there are some people saying that DeSantis is only interested in running for president because someone, I don't think that DeSantis is this dumb, but many people are saying that DeSantis was tricked into thinking that Trump actually will be indicted, prosecuted, and end up in prison, and there will be no Republican nominee, in which case DeSantis could ride in on his white horse to save the day. Not happening, folks. I don't know if DeSantis actually thought that, but you know, I said all along, I thought it didn't make any sense for DeSantis to run against Trump. And so when it became clear that DeSantis is running against Trump, I've been perplexed. I've been looking for a reason, you know, and that's one explanation. I don't know if it's the correct explanation, but his star only continues to dim as old Drumpf, spelled, of course, with a lowercase d and an uppercase RU, because Drumpf is a Russian puppet. His star is burning as brightly as ever. And I don't say that because I'm a fan. I'm not a fan. I was very critical during his first administration. If he is elected to another term, I'm sure that I will be critical of much that he does during that term. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.